morning.
Oh.
Let me at this point make a clear-cut scientific statement. Masturbation is not harmful. Genitals.
Every so often I get a strong sex urge, and the only way I can take care of it is to masturbate. And it worries me, and I say, well, I won't do it anymore. Masturbate.
Genitals.
And when I do, it goes away for a while, and I come back and do it again.
Genitals.
I definitely knew it was a problem. It went from like having a place in my life to like taking over my life.
For me, Playboy was my gateway into full-on pornography addiction.
Well, I had my normal afternoon all planned out. Shades were drawn, my favorite pages were bookmarked and waiting for me. My Korean microfiber polishing mitt rinsed out and almost dry.
And it's affected almost every choice I made for the rest of my life from age 5. And it just presents itself in the open, like it's okay. And I stand up and say, you know, it's not okay.
Porn.
Let me just lay down the facts. Multiple credible neuroscientists have conclusively found that the hub is bad for your brain using fMRI scans.
Utah made national headlines today when Governor Herbert signed a bill declaring pornography a public health crisis.
There is an acute problem, we think, out there, a health crisis, not only psychologically, but physiologically.
Porn.
They started at Columbus Circle, and they marched in force right down Broadway into the heart of Times Square, sometimes called the porn center of the world. The marchers' aim was clear. Let's kill the $4 billion industry that exploits females and female bodies, young and old. In other words, no more X-rated movies, magazines, posters, peep shows, and other paraphernalia that encourage what they say is violence against women.
It has nothing to do with sex, with love, with erotica. It is violence. And in most of the cases of rapists and child abusers who have been questioned, they have said very clearly that they were practicing what they had seen demonstrated in pornography.
So I've actually made some videos about porn before, but I thought I would do something a bit different for this one and talk about some of the benefits and the positive things about porn. Media coverage of pornography tends to have headlines all about the negative side of pornography and how it's ruining everybody's lives and relationships.
What I'm trying to tell you as honestly as I know how what happened, and I think this is a message I want to get across. But as a young boy, and I mean boy of 12 or 13, certainly, that I encountered outside the home again, in the local grocery store, or the local drugstore, the softcore pornography, what people call softcore. But as I think I explained to you last night, Dr. Dobson, in an anecdote, that as young boys do, we explored the back roads and sideways and byways of our neighborhood, and oftentimes people would dump the garbage and whatever they were cleaning out of their house, and from time to time we'd come across pornographic books of a harder nature than more graphic, you might say, more explicit nature than we would encounter, let's say, in your local grocery store. And this also included such things as, let's say, detective magazines and more hardcore.
Those that involve violence.
Yes, yes, yeah. And this is something I think I want to emphasize is the most damaging kinds of pornography, and again, I'm talking from personal experience, hard, real personal experience. The most damaging kinds of pornography are those that involve violence and sexual violence, because the wedding of those two forces, as I know only too well, brings about behavior that is just too terrible to describe.
Switch up the narrative a little bit. Also, I'll note that this list is about the positives of porn consumption. Talking about the porn industry and the production is kind of an entirely separate conversation.
From a lawsuit facing MindGeek over child pornography on its site.
Highly separate conversation.
The suit concerns whether or not Visa should be liable for the distribution of child pornography. It comes as journalists from the New Yorker, New York Times, is trying to spotlight on MindGeek's business practices.
More than 30 women have filed a lawsuit against Pornhub. The women are accusing the adult website of running a, quote, criminal enterprise and exploiting them for profit. NBC News tech investigations editor Olivia Salone joins us now with more on this. Olivia, tell us a little more about this lawsuit.
The lawsuit accuses Pornhub's parent company, MindGeek, of hosting videos depicting revenge porn, rape, and even child sexual abuse, and profiting from that. And there are 34 women who say they've had their lives completely ruined after discovering sexually explicit videos of them uploaded to the website without their consent, and in some cases filmed when they were underage or unconscious.
Highly separate conversation.
Have a good time, talk about Pornhub, you know what I mean? Like, it's just what guys do.
It's a pleasure. It's what guys do, it's what girls do, it's what a lot of people do, as I've discovered.
And in some cases filmed when they were underage or unconscious.
If you didn't know, Ethical Capital Partners just bought out MindGeek, former owners of all of your favorite websites.
Pornhub, YouPorn, RedTube. We got a list.
Yeah, a bunch of other ones you pretend that you don't know.
Your entire search history.
Well, speak for yourself.
But for me, it's work, always.
And in some cases filmed when they were underage or unconscious.
Most of the material that's made by the adult industry is far from violent.
And when you look at peer-reviewed studies, what you find is that in the top rented watch movies, 90% of scenes have violence against women in them, and these are academic peer-reviewed studies. So what you're saying is completely not borne out by the research, but by the porn. The Supreme Court are not social scientists, okay? And when you want to look at harm, you don't go to the Supreme Court. You go to the literature, and what you do is you look at the 40 years of empirical studies by sociologists, by psychologists, by media experts, and the jury is absolutely backing. There is no discussion anymore in the academic world. Pornography shapes the way men think about women. It changes the way they think about rape. It changes the way they think about their own masculinity. It encourages violence against women. It causes erectile dysfunction. It causes a whole array of things. And we all know that. The porn industry, by the way, they're liars. That's their job. They're an industry. They're a predatory industry. Their job is to give you their PR.
Nut juice.
So
I am intrigued, but at the same time, I'm sure that it's probably not that serious.
Are you gonna NoFap?
I mean, I'll NoFap for like a day. I'm already at 5 minutes. My heart rate feels pretty normal. Guilt and shame, definitely
debatable, right? Actually, I totally disagree that it's poison. I mean, some like hardcore porn stuff is poison for sure. But I don't think doing and consuming, whatever, right? Whatever, right?
זה אני. לפני כ-13 שנה חזרתי בתשובה. הכנסתי חזק לתוך העולם החרדי, ואני עדיין לומד אותו על בשרי כל יום. ברוך השם, התחתנתי, ונודעו לי ולאשתי בלי עין הרע 6 ילדים מתוקים ויפים. עכשיו, כשבני הגדול הגיע לגיל חינוך, אני מצווה והגעת לבנך, ואני ממש בבעיה. יש מצוות שילד מבין בקלות, כמו לימוד תורה, תפילה, כשרות, שבת. אבל ישנם דברים יותר מסובכים להסביר לו, ובראשם שמירת הברית. שזה בעצם האיסור המוחלט, החמור והקיצוני ביהדות על אוננות.
כל מי שמוציא זרעו לבטלה נקרא רע. אותם הטיפות שאדם מוציא לבטלה מחשיבים אותו לאביהם. זה שהשחית זרעו הרג את בניו ממש.
Whatever, right?
אני זוכר שבתור ילד, בתור נער מתבגר, היה לי מחשבות על בחורות. אבל היות שלא ידעתי בדיוק איך המבנה הגוף של הבחורה בנוי. לא היה לי מושגים כאילו לחדור ודברים האלו, לא ידענו את זה, לא דיברו על זה. קמתי בבוקר, הלכתי למקווה, התפלתי לשם שיהיה טוב, המשכנו הלאה, כי אם אתה תופס את זה, תעסוק עם זה. הטענה היא למה הגעת למקום שאתה יכול להפיל את עצמך. עיקר העבודה היא לא להגיע למקום שאתה יכול להפיל את עצמך.
הבן אדם שרוצה לא לאונן, הוא צריך קודם כל להבין על מה זה יושב אצלו. מה הביא אותו להיות תקוע שם. הברוך הכי גדול, מגיעים אליי אנשים נשואים. שהוא ממשיך לאונן אחרי הנישואים, מה קרה?
אחי, מתגברים שבועיים, פום, נופלים, ממש שווה כלום.
תדע לך, הדור שלנו, 2 כפתורים פה, 2 כפתור שם, אתה כבר מגיע לכל הזוהמה הכי גדולה שקיימת בעולם. אתה מצליח לשמור על עצמך שבועיים, אז זה מדרגה.
Now I'm personally feeling attacked. Dude, so this is like part of the alpha movement about, I guess, semen retention or something, or it's super weird thing about...
The gayest thing in the world is being attracted to women for these...
Right.
It's
They don't...
so
they believe
gay.
that jerking off is immoral. No wonder they're out there R-wording everybody. I'm pro jerking off.
Yeah, please.
How many times you jerk off today? 3? Double it!
Those are rookie
Get your
numbers,
shit together,
dude.
man.
Jack it off.
This dude is so fucking
Idiot.
dumb. This stupid fucking kid is giving me some derivative red pill shit from like the worst people in the world. You don't know anything. Look how young you are.
It's poison. People it's so weird to it's feeding their addiction to jerking off, which is a serious problem we have.
How is that a serious problem?
It's not
Please
a serious
explain.
problem.
By the way, jerking off for men actually prevents cancer. Swear to God. It cleans the prostate. It lowers your chance of prostate cancer. Google that. Swear to God. Jerking off lowers.
Somebody in the chat just said it too.
It's real.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If your shit is just sitting there, it's gonna, you know.
Would do something a bit different for this one and talk about some of the benefits and the positive things about porn.
So we put people in the scanner and we looked at their brain structure and associated this brain structure with the amount of pornography they consume. So basically we found in our study that the gray matter in the reward center is generally smaller in those people who watch more porn.
We've seen that with multiple addictions, from methamphetamine to cocaine, others, and now with pornography addiction.
So this is about watching, consuming, viewing porn. So number one, it is arousing.
Yes.
There is solid research to show that brain functioning changes. The more you watch pornography, then you can get a blip up when the pornography is totally new. But totally new soon becomes old as you watch that.
People need to watch more or get more interesting and novel stuff to get the same level of activity in the reward system.
You know, so it's a paradox. When it starts out, the porn is turning you on, and the more porn you watch, the less likely you are to get aroused.
Which seems to indicate that the normal, regular thing you were used to isn't sufficient anymore.
The wonderful thing about the human mind is the power of curiosity to invent, to create, but what pornography does is it puts a straitjacket on our mind to say, no, this is the only thing I'm interested in, and then ultimately that any kind of compulsion is destructive.
I mean, we shouldn't hide from the fact that a lot of people are turned on by porn, and sexual excitement and pleasure feel great, and we shouldn't shame people for that.
What a joke!
औरतों की संख्या भी बढ़ती जा रही है। दूसरी तरफ अब पॉर्न इंडस्ट्री कुछ भी करेगी आपको बहकाने और कंफ्यूज करने के लिए।
As a woman, I think porn is a disgrace.
Number two, it's relaxing.
And I used to watch a lot of porn, to be honest. I started watching porn when I was like 11. I thought that's how you learned how to have sex.
3, it can be really useful for LGBTQ+ folks. Any education.
I was watching abusive porn, to be honest. You know, when I was like 14. And I, you know, thought I was one of the guys and would talk about it and think it was really cool for not having a problem with it and not seeing why it was bad. And I think it really destroyed my brain. And I feel incredibly devastated.
Incredibly devastated.
And we shouldn't shame people for that.
Was exposed to so much porn. I think that I had like sleep paralysis and these like almost like night terror / just nightmares because of it. I think that's how they started, because I would just watch abusive BDSM.
Porn is stuff that you watch with your eyes, and then you think that it's real, but it's not. Surprise!
Porn is a thing with dicks and vaginas, other things too, like boobs.
How could you post this? Turns out that you were cringe.
I couldn't watch anything else, like unless it was violent. I like didn't think it was attractive, and I was a virgin. I had never done anything, and so it led to problems where, you know, the first few times I, you know, had sex, I was not saying no to things that were not good, and it's because I thought that that's what I was supposed to be attracted to, and I'm so angry that porn is so loved. It's how so many people think that they're supposed to learn. It's how so many men think that they're supposed to be, and because in porn there's no consent, like getting thrown around during sex. If you're not interested in being slapped and being choked, people are like, you're vanilla, you're soft, you're boring in bed. And I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about women. Women are like, oh, I have to like being hurt to be thought of as good in bed.
And we shouldn't shame people for that.
Literally porn. It's just like, you're pretending. It's
you made a
crazy.
really
There's
good point.
Kids everywhere, all over the app. That would traumatize me if I saw that when I was a kid. Traumatize me.
You're bringing up such a good thing, because I'm telling you, man, if I had that shit when I was 14, I would have been way overly sexualized, and I would have assumed what women want was like way more violent, probably. You know, there was an innocence.
Yeah, how could you not?
And we shouldn't shame people for that.
Well, Louise.
Squirt.
Mandy.
A squirt.
Susanna?
Well, we did find that obviously as well, but no, not much.
Brilliant.
Oh, they make my willy go boy or yoink. If they were good
I please my man in every way. All the ways. Wake him up. He gets to nut. Before he leaves out the door, he's leaving empty nuts.
Do you masturbate to take care of the problem?
No.
When's the last time you masturbated?
Long time ago.
Honestly?
Sometime previous to knowing women.
Really?
That's a lot of work. You know what? It's a lot of work and it gets you nowhere. You know.
I'm shocked to hear you say that.
No, I'm not. I was never big into that world.
Let me ask something. No porno. You don't sit there on the computer and...
No.
Have you heard about the benefits of NoFap?
I have. I've tried it.
Yeah.
The first day is the hardest.
Really? What?
You could get through a month.
Yeah.
Right. No, this is a group of people who advocate for men not to masturbate. That is what NoFap is. And the science behind this, if you know anything, whatever, you will know that is that man's body telling him to fucking clean the pipes. Right.
It was fantastic, Jerry. We wound up talking all night.
So you're enjoying the not enjoying?
You know, just by conversing, you can really learn a lot about a person.
This is your brain, okay? Now, from what I know about you, your brain consists of two parts. The intellect, represented here, and the part obsessed with sex.
Of course. Absolute zero.
What is with all these books?
I stopped having sex.
How long you been celibate?
3 years.
The 4th year is a tough one.
Substance that comes from your medulla.
Hare Krishna. Seminal fluid has many wonderful qualities. Preserving and conserving it inside our body can give the amazing results
in the semen retention community, all right? So I'm gonna talk to you guys about these 3 big lies that I'm starting to see. Superpowers? Really? Really?
Being able to come up with the right answers may be smart, but being able to come up with great questions is genius.
Who's ever gone the longest in the 20th century, jacking off just on memory?
Dude, I haven't watched porn since August.
That's not that long.
30 days, I am attempting one of the most insane challenges I have ever dared to try. Very few men have successfully completed this challenge.
Adolf Hitler declared that men who succumbed to lust were weak and pitiful. Of course, he was above such things. Hitler claimed he abstained from sex to preserve the thing he called the flame of life.
And we're going to be taking on 30 days of semen retention. Do you get it? Do you understand? All right, it's starting to kick in.
Semen retention.
आज हम बात करेंगे semen retention करने वाले successful लोगों के बारे में जिन्होंने
I could go 30 days to be celibate. You know, like really like I'm a monk.
What am I gonna do now?
Alright, Don't stop getting your fucking knickers in as well.
I go jerk off to
Enjoy the
hentai or
stream,
something.
Holy fuck, man. Oh, I'm not sent of attention. I'm going to throw my toys out
With
to
all
pram.
the problems riddling Americans today, including poverty, hunger, just economic instability, terrible privatized health insurance as it doesn't cover their needs, GOP Senator Mike Lee is focusing on what really matters: banning pornography.
The time for talk is past. The Lord's work must be done.
Kevin, I have your caramel brulee lattes ready.
Starting in 2019, Starbucks will ban access to porn on their free Wi-Fi network.
This year, how come I go to show? I come down here to party, have fun, but I don't miss no women. But it's not the point. The point is this: if a woman was a woman, her husband wouldn't be down here.
So what if I told you that I think it is a good idea for people on NoFap to allow yourself to fap sometimes?
Okay, Coomer.
Allow yourself to fap sometimes.
And we shouldn't shame people for that.
Really?
Whatever, right?
Are you sure it's here?
Allow yourself to fap sometimes.
Really?
Whatever, right?
And we shouldn't shame people for that.
Like, what is this dragon? Oh, the dragon is a metaphor for masturbation.
Sure. No problem.
If I kept it, I'm not sure what I might do.
And now for something completely different.
I'm celibate. I practice brahmacharya, tantric celibacy. I gave up sex 3 years ago.
My God, why? Or more importantly, why? Didn't you like it?
Oh, I loved it. I'd have sex morning, noon, and night, sometimes 3 women a day, and I was always ready for more.
And now you're just being cruel.
No. It was all ego. And where I am now is so much better than sex.
Oh, come on, honey. Nothing's better than sex.
Think about really good foreplay. The sexual energy is just starting to awaken. Now imagine a 3-year foreplay, where all that sexual energy is coursing through your body, but it never gets released. It just recycles, builds, rises, until your entire being is humming with that electric sexual energy.
My apartment's just around the corner.
The only thing hotter than sex is not having sex.